Okay, we're gonna tape this camera to the window so it doesn't fall over. Let's just, oh yeah, that seems about right. Hopefully this piece of wood isn't in the way. And I did my hair. You can see I got a bit of gray. I'm not so self-conscious about that. I got my eyelid tape. I found some new, I kind of do these confident looks in the camera. Like, you can tell I've had body dysmorphia or some kind of self-conscious issues about my eyelids. And now that I have my eyelid tape, I'm like, hey, what's up? You see my eyelid tape? I just found some different kinds of eyelid tape as well. I mean, there's different shapes, and the best shaped one, it's kind of on an arch. I mean, my eyelid tapes are pretty straight. But the arch ones are a bit too small. They kind of don't really work that well. And I'm just going to skip right to the point. I'm not going to try and dress it up. There was a fifth message I got from the cuckold queen, Dane, which I haven't read yet, and I was thinking about reading it on camera to get the reaction. I think that would be quite something, because I'm starting to think that she really loves me. I mean, if someone sticks around to tell you, no, really, I don't love you. Hey, I was just outside your house. I noticed in the window when I was reading your lips that you were talking about me like you love me. I just wanted to tell you, dude, I love someone else, not you. Oh, you thought I was gonna love you? No, sorry, dude. I'm gonna be outside watching you sleep with a dream catcher to make sure that you don't have any dreams about me. I'm gonna be analyzing the dreams that my dream catcher catches to make sure that you don't have any dreams about me. Because I know that I'm just irresistible. Hey, look. I get it, okay? I'm a real hottie. I'm what they call an HB10. That stands for hot babe. 10 out of 10. And, it just hurts my heart to see you so worked up. Especially when I do the splits. Hey, look. Gotta do the splits. Don't get worked up. Well, that's really all I have to talk about. How lame is that? I'll fill you in on the context, and then I'll read the comment, just because I don't actually have anything else to talk about. And the context is, well, you have to watch the past few videos to really see it. I don't feel like going into it. Either you're a fan or you're not. So, I'll just catch you up with the last episode. In the last episode of Louise the Tease, Louise the Tease talks to me and she says, you're just gonna have to accept the fact that I have a beautiful boyfriend and it's not you. Sorry, buddy. Now, do you mind watching me do the splits? Do you mind watching me do a backward somersault towards you? Wearing yoga pants that my boyfriend really likes it when I wear those. I mean, it was as cuckoldy as you could get. And frankly, at one point in my life, I would have been really into that, actually. When I was about 25, somewhere around there. And I'm 38 now. I just had my birthday today. No, sorry. It was last week sometime. It was on the 19th of March. And well, today I had a visitor. Someone came by with a gift, and that was pretty cool. I got $60. I had a nice conversation. But let's get more into Smother Hen's smothering. Let's go see what Smother Hen said today. She wants to suffocate you, but not in the good way. Okay, I'm a bit nervous, a bit excited. Reading Smother Hen, Louise the T's comment, number 5. Whew. Let's see here. I'm actually nervous. Oh, it's a long one. Oh my god. Z-Bubs. Wow. I would like to advise you to slow down a notch and bring this to a level with respect. Your response is disrespectful to a degree I'm not going to entertain. Okay. I think she's entertaining the response. Oh, I should read you my response. I wrote, I didn't feel lonely until you talked to me. Introducing yourself by mothering someone is like a guy introducing himself by flashing a girl. Your message translates to squirm boy and imagine me with some other guy, beg me to be with you so I can remember I'm important. I don't feel lonely anymore talking to you now though, because I don't feel like you care about me anymore. Therefore, I don't feel conflicted that why does someone who cares about me want to make me beg her? Oh boy. Oh, I just awakened the giant. Smother Hen is not going to be happy about this. Oh my god. Let me just let me just savor this moment. I'm quite enjoying this. Okay, let's see what Smother Hen has to say. Let's see how much she's not entertaining my hate speech. If you want people to treat you nice, then don't push them away. Seems to me like she was already ignoring me. I understand being a target can abstract your mind and make you go literally insane. Oh, am I insane? I've smoked salvia. That makes you real insane. I think I know what insane is because I've smoked salvia. And based on your comment, I'd say you're on your way to thinking yourself into somewhere you don't want to be. Oh man, this is really good. Louise the Tease has an ego. I sympathize with other targets since I firsthand understand all the trauma it inflicts. This has nothing to do with targeting. But sympathy or not, there are limits and you are reaching mine. We can be friends if you rationalize and stop behaving like an a-hole. I worry about you because I can see where you might be headed internally, and you seem like you could use a friend to shake you out of these self-destructive thought patterns. Well, there's a lot of girls I talk to who I don't have these kind of thought patterns when I talk to them. And the thought patterns she's referring to are me feeling like she's twisting my nuts. Hey, if you're another girl watching this and I've never accused you of twisting my nuts, that's because you're not Louise the Tease. You will scare people away, and I honestly believe you already have. Now I'm starting to wonder if she's a gang stalker. Being targeted is not an excuse to treat others with that kind of disrespect. It will leave you alone, and as you know by now, loneliness makes you not only depressed, it makes you insane. But I don't think I'm lonely. Except for when I'm with people like Louise the Tease. Please snap out of it, mate, and be brave enough to trust that not everyone is a perpetrator. I didn't think she was a perpetrator. I started to wonder reading her comment. But typically, unless someone has a weird profile picture, like a skull or something like that, I don't think that people are perpetrators. I think this might be the end of my relationship with Louise the Tease. I did make another video about her today, and I could just reference her to that video. I could just say watch the video in which I said, I mean it was not really about her, but she came up and I said, what did I say? Well, I basically said what I've already said. She's just the cuckold queen. And, yikes. I could feel the pretentiousness. When you call someone insane, you basically discredit. It's an ad hominem. It's like calling someone the N-word or something. It's like, well, everything you say is just invalid. I never went there. I never went to weight or looks or name calling. Well, you're insane. I simply said, you acted one way when you introduced yourself to lead me on, and then you acted a different way to discard me. And that's totally uncool. I think she accused me of thinking she's a gangstalker because I didn't think that with any degree of consideration until just now. I had thought it, but the thought just crossed my mind and I thought, no, I don't think so. But now that she said that my calling her out means that I think she's a gangstalker, I think that means that she thinks she's acting like a gangstalker. Because she is. Yikes. Maybe I shouldn't be friends. Let me just tell you a truth about people. If you reject someone sexually, you reject all of them. And I don't have friends. I have either romantic interests or business necessities. But if someone says, hey, let's go to the bar together, friendo, I say, no thank you. And maybe that's not true on some level. I mean, if there's a guy who comments to me something friendly, I will typically say something. I won't be rude and ignore people. I won't be like, well, for example, someone recently commented who seemed like a guy. They said, I like your videos. And I said, thanks. So maybe I have friends after all. But the idea of giving someone advice, unsolicited advice, I don't think that's a friendly thing to do. And if someone of the opposite gender wants to hang out and just be friends, get lost. Fuck you. Get the fuck out of here. If you're my female friend, and I haven't had sex in like 10 years, so, forgive me for talking like I have, but if you're my female friend, if you don't have sex with me, I wouldn't hang out with you. Because if you reject me sexually, you reject all of me. And if that means that I'm not approved of by the morality of Louise the Tease. I think that's a pretty good sign. I think when I tell someone off, I don't say things like, well, you know, you have an Oedipus complex. It was probably formed when you were 5, you know, unless I'm mocking a gang stalker or something. But to genuinely and truly say that to someone, excuse me, but I can see that you're going down the path of, well, frankly, I won't say it, but insanity and perhaps something worse, if you know what I mean. Don't really want to say it because YouTube might censor it. Hey, I can see disagreeing with me means that you're gonna yourself. Hey, you disagreed with me? That means you're insane. That means that you are gonna, you know, yourself. No, I don't mean fuck. I mean, you're gonna do something else to yourself. Well, maybe it'd be, if you disagree with me, you're probably better off dead. Could you imagine what Louise's partner is like? Oh my God. Could you imagine? He'd probably, and I've tried this. I've literally tried to bend my own dick into my ass to fuck myself. I bet he really does it. And no, you know, I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with a prostate orgasm. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with being effeminate. Okay, it's not about being effeminate. It's about bending your own dick. Okay, that's something else. Bending your own dick. Putting it up your own ass. You know? He's one of those, I can already tell. And she's like a really soft, like a soft, I don't know if she's quiet. I've never heard her voice, but I mean, kind of one of those, she writes as if she's soft-spoken. And she dominates with a sort of, you know, passive-aggressive withholding sex type thing. That's her only move, withholding sex. And why do I care so much? Well, I don't know. I don't, actually. But it was exciting because she is physically attractive. It was exciting because I didn't know what she was going to say, and she hadn't went that far into depravity yet that I thought, okay, you're totally calloused. You're totally fraudulent. You know, I thought you were just delusional. But you're actually in the territory of narcissistic. And so I was kind of hopeful, and I've been enjoying these dialogues between her and I. At first, I was enjoying because I thought, oh, there's a romantic possibility. And as that started to fade, I started to enjoy a different aspect of it, which is, this is actually pretty funny. My God, I have a lot of dishes. Let's get a nice profile view over here with my eyelid tape. And maybe... maybe it's right I've been single. I mean, when I was about 33, I changed my diet around, and it was so amazing. I had so much energy, and all my relationships before then had been kind of failures. In fact, a lot of my ex-partners, if not all of them, have turned out to be gang stalkers. Whether they were gang stalkers at the time or they just became gang stalkers, I don't know. But they all ended in pain, sadly. And then when I was about... and I could have kept them too. You know, you could say, well, I shouldn't be doing this, but I'm thinking of Louise the Tease criticizing, saying, well, see, your relationships all failed. They didn't have to. I could have stayed in a terrible, loveless, joyless relationship, convincing myself that it was what I wanted. I could have enjoyed the prison. But after they all ended, I changed my diet around when I was about 33. And by that time I had felt validated. On some level, I felt like, finally, I'm good enough. And so I started changing my diet around. I started eating healthfully. And I realized I'm pretty screwed up. And it seems like I'm getting more screwed up because I'm only realizing how screwed up I am for the first time. But I'm actually not getting more screwed up. I'm just noticing for the first time how screwed up I am. So it seems like I'm making a regression, but I'm actually making a progression. And then I started hanging out with people. I had platonic relationships where I hung out with people all the time. And, well, they were very lovely. In fact, I learned a lot about myself, about how I feel when people love me, how it makes my self-esteem feel like I'm important. And then something with those relationships, and I didn't know I was being gang-stalked yet, they started basically doing things that made me feel slighted. For example, they would always be late. We'd be hanging out, and they'd always be late. Or right when we'd have a good moment, then they would criticize me about some mistake that was so human, some kind of mistake that they would also make. But then they would have out of proportion anger at me for making the same mistake. And so I basically stopped talking to them as friends, and I went to business mode. It's either relationship that is romantic or it's business mode. And or perhaps it's friendship mode too. Maybe that's a thing, but certainly not with someone who's attractive of the opposite gender. That's romantic mode or it's nothing. And frankly, why would you? I'm not the one who's crass here, saying hit the sheets or hit the streets. Hey baby, you want to stay over at my house? Hit the sheets or hit the streets. That's not crass. Do you know how weird it is? Do you know how completely weird you are? If you're like, hey bestie, I know what you're thinking. I know what you fantasize about, but it's never going to happen. Do you know how utterly fucking creepy and weird that is? How against nature that is? You would never... And it's not even like I'm looking at the monkeys saying, see, there's the proof. It's my own experience. And the people who try to play the other game, like, okay, let's just hold hands, but nothing else. Look, let's just cuddle together. I've had these sort of things. This girl I dated in college, she was a weirdo. She's a fucking creep. Now she has a master's degree. She's like a therapist. Here's what she sounds like. And she comes to my house in Copenhagen, actually. And she cuddles with me in bed. She poses in front of me. She bends over in front of me. She Skypes with her boyfriend in front of me, so her boyfriend can't see. But I see what she's doing. And she's just an ultimate tease. In high school, she's telling me how she had sex with her boyfriend, and she's a Christian. And oh my God, it was just, I can't believe I did it, I'm so bad. As she would have romantic time with me, which was anything but sex, but pretty close. And it was just on some level, I never saw it at the time, but afterwards I was like, she was just a tease the whole time. And now she's like, I have a master's degree. If you want to book a therapy session with me, we're going to indulge in your creativity because that's the route I go. Look, I go with creativity, okay? And she fluffs her hair and there's a fan blowing her hair. Creativity is the route to the soul. Namaste. As she has some guy tied up in the chair behind her and she's like waving her butt in his face. And she's hoping that he'll kill himself so she could say it was my butt that did that. Oh, it was you know what? The fact that I have small breasts doesn't matter because my butt made a guy kill himself because he wanted it so bad. My inverted breasts, they're actually good because, everyone has so many skill points and all my skill points went into my butt and it compensates. So I'm actually beautiful. So I don't have to feel like an unlovable freak because some guy killed himself. Anyways, in my master's therapy class, in my master class, today we're going to focus on creativity. Namaste. And like when I see these kinds of people and meet them, I'm like, I'm just like, this is ridiculous. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Oh my God. I'd like to see Louise the Tease's body. Partially for reasons that I could say are because I'm a man, but partially just to see, I bet she has something going on. Bet she has something going on to act so entitled. Ugh. What a total narcissist. The narcissist reels you in and then discards you and devalues you. And when you're like, what the fuck? When you start getting discarded, then they're like, well, you're a piece of shit and it's all your fault. And they frame it like it's all your fault. And so it took me a while to realize these things. And I hadn't found my people yet. I actually have more real friends now than I ever did. I think there are like 6 people I trust, like 6 people I like. People online, people who I think are not gang stalkers. I never had that before. And I could never see the games people were playing with me before because I was, in a sense, more real, more innocent. I mean, I was manipulative too, but not that manipulative. I couldn't see how manipulative some people were. And then once I kind of realized it, oh man, all my my love interests, especially the main one who I loved, turned out to just leave me high and dry, basically. That was the one that really set me on a path of, I worshipped this girl. And at the end of the day, she was just playing me. And I never even saw it. And it was like the first time in my life where I felt totally like nothing was wrong with me. Like I was a completely whole, total, complete person. I felt just perfect. And I didn't have the love of anyone. And I thought, this is fantastic. If they say that you're supposed to go a whole year being single when you quit drinking alcohol or quit doing drugs or something, that should apply to me too, because my cooked food addiction, and a lot of people aren't going to see it this way, but if you keep listening to me for long enough, you might. Cooked food ferments in the guts and it turns to alcohol. And if you eat cooked food, you're basically an alcoholic. And so, you're not like completely drunk or something, but You got a low level buzz going on. And so when I quit cooked food, I thought I should stay single for a while because I'm having all these revelations, these understandings that people are not what I thought. The people I liked, I didn't actually like. I just thought I liked them. I'd been taught that I was supposed to like them. And now I'm waking up to it. And even if I'm eating cooked food, I should stay single. But, you know, it kind of really did require the raw food, too. That was really kind of like sobering up. It was like the most sober I had ever been. It was the most out of the fog that I had ever felt. And regardless, though, just hypothetically, even if I were to eat cooked food still, I should stay single for a year because my jaw has hit the floor. I'm so shocked at who people actually are versus who I thought they were that I just can't trust myself that I won't be hypnotized again by the first person who plays me. And I got played then by a gang stalker, also fell in love. I think she was a gang stalker, I don't know, but she was pretty nasty, pretty rude. And I just blamed myself. I went right back into old habits that it must be my fault. If you're rude, just please let me have your love. And I mean, I think she was a gang stalker. Her friends threatened to kill me. One of her friends was walking near me, and her friend comes up to me really aggressively, like a moment before then. And she gets right in my face, and we're at this dance, and she says, the DJ's going to be here for the next half hour. Gets really close to my face. I didn't like it. It was just, the vibe was wrong. It was like, I felt like she was interrogating me, or like she was just asserting her dominance over me. Like, hey, you, the DJ, like I can't even do it, but it was very abrupt. I really didn't like it. So the next time she was walking by me and I was dancing, I just kind of stepped in her way a little bit. Not enough that it would trip her, not enough that it was dangerous, not enough that she felt threatened, just enough to disrespect her. And what she said then was that she would kill me. If you do that, you're going to get killed. She got real tough. Like, she was like, you know, she got like hood, like she got hood all of a sudden. And I was like, I guess I was right. I guess you were actually telling me about the DJ just to stunt on me. And her other friends were basically the same. You know, I got really upset then, and her other friend comes by and she says, who knows what's wrong? And her other friend says, what's wrong? And I had just started having a meltdown. I was high on mushrooms and the music was playing. So you think you can love me and leave me to die? Whoa, baby. And I start singing like so loud, like arrogantly or like obnoxiously loud. And one of her other friends or someone else at the dance, I don't know if this guy was part of their friends, but he says to the girl right beside me, I'm thinking about punching this guy out. And the girl who she says it to is a nice girl. She's like one who had danced with me, and she just ignores the guy. And then I start having a meltdown. I just go and sit down. I get really quiet. All of a sudden, I'm really upset. I feel totally out of place. The girl who I liked there, she's increasingly seeming like she's a jerk. And then she arrives, and she basically ignores me, and then she sends me kind of a rude email the next day, and then I kind of freak out, and I kind of have like a lot of feelings for her then, like kind of like I'm being abused by her, but I'm somehow I like it. Somehow it makes me like her more. But it's actually that I hate her, but it's repressed. It's actually that I can't even realize that I hate her. And so again, I go into this kind of mental state of hell. And it ends badly. It ends with her telling me to leave her the fuck alone. after I keep emailing her because she keeps ignoring me, and I'm angry that I'm like feeling threatened and ignored and kicked out when I was no problem to begin with. You know, she didn't have to be rude to me. She basically said, stop going to these dances. And I was like, but I wasn't interfering with you or with anyone. And you guys have just been basically probably gang stalking me, but very rude to me. And, you know, I was thinking, I'll just keep emailing you then if you're going to ignore me. And she didn't block me. She just finally said, leave me the fuck alone. At which point I said, yes, of course. And I never talked to her again. And then the gang stalking went overt. And then I had a real other breakdown that was even perhaps worse. That was really bad. Again, I thought it was my fault. I thought it was my fault I was being gang stalked. And then the idea of a romantic relationship went right out the window. The idea of having friends went out the window. The idea of even trusting anyone in any context, it went out the window. And it was a sad time. It was a really sad time. And then I realized too, I had been diagnosed with mental illness 10 years prior. And I realized that that was part of gang stalking. That what they called psychotic episode was actually my response to being gang stalked. And I had always kind of known it, but I didn't consciously know it. I didn't come to terms with it. I sort of put it into spiritual terms. I said to myself, I'm becoming a good person, and this is triggering the bad people. And that's how it works. And so I thought there was a lot of clairvoyance going on. That you have a psychic field and people can pick up on it. And that's what explains all these weird coincidences. That the police are always following me, and this girl got my number, my email without me knowing how, and it scared me. And when I asked her about it, she didn't tell me how she got my email, and she was also mothering me and teasing me. And there were so many stories. I mean, if you're gang stalked, you know how many countless things happen. But for those few years, I mean, it was like when I was about 30, I don't know, early 30s, when I wasn't consciously aware I was being gang stalked, but I still kind of knew it. But I didn't know it enough that it had went overt yet. I had a really great time. I had a lot of self-love. I had a lot of potential for a real relationship because I didn't feel needy for the first time in my life. I felt like I was enough. And I relished every day. It was like a Hallmark card. Like every moment is magical. Oh my God. Like I felt like that. I actually felt impressed. I was impressed with life constantly. Every day. Every day was a good day. I had no bad days. And I thought, this is the real me. This is who could have a relationship. This confirms and validates everything. You know, all the feelings I had prior to this, that all the relationships went bad. This confirms why they went bad, because now I realize I was basically some kind of masochist, or I had been so conditioned to believe I was worthless that I only got attracted to people who would confirm that for me, or I only attracted people who would find me worthless. And I thought, now I actually feel great, and even being single is great, and if I could have a relationship, that would be great. but it wouldn't have that same kind of neediness. But again, I did get caught up with someone who really exploited the neediness I felt that came back all of a sudden like a cancer. Clearly, I still had some neediness. It was like some kind of last trace of cancer that hadn't been removed yet. And then suddenly it spread and it took over. And I was back worse than ever. Alexa, light on. And mind you, I was getting like death threats, and I thought she was gangstalking me, which she may have been. I didn't consciously, I didn't know the word gangstalking back then, but I'd see people all the time around my house, and I'd think that's her friends doing this. That's her family doing this. And so it's taken a while to get back to some sense of innocence where I don't feel like it's my fault. It's, hey, I get bad vibes from you. Must be my fault. Let me try and fix that. Hey, I'm getting bad vibes from you. That's my fault. Let me try and fix that. And now something unexpected happened, because I went from truly believing that I'd never have a friend again. That was the least of my concerns. The most of my concerns was I hate myself. All this gang stalking is my fault. That was really bad. In fact, sometimes I've wondered, when people get murdered by gang stalking covertly, and an overt gang stalking murder is a literal murder, but a covert gang stalking murder is when the victim is forced into suicide. I think that a lot of the suicides are because the victim gets so abused that they blame themselves and then they kill themselves for that reason, more so than the reason of being tortured. Who knows? I don't know. But it was a really bad time in my life when I blamed myself. And I never thought that I'd have another friend again. I never thought I'd feel love again. I never thought I'd feel self-respect again. I never thought I'd feel good, like when you just feel kind of good, like you have like kind of like just a good feeling, and that's you. It's not like you got high, it's not like you just drank some sugary juice. It's not like you got a raise. That's just innately you. It just feels good to exist, and you just enjoy your own company, you enjoy your own presence. I never thought I'd feel like that again. And since then, putting myself out there, because I heard, put yourself out there, be authentic, and if you are authentic, you're going to have issues with everyone. Everyone's a hypocrite. Every step you take, there's going to be people trying to hurt you just for being authentic. You're going to have a million unnecessary problems, except they are necessary because they're the price you have to pay to be authentic. But eventually, when you're authentic for long enough, people will see and they will tell. And then you will have friends. And that's what has happened. I have a handful of people, like probably like 5 to 10 people, after I've been putting myself out here for a couple years, maybe 3 years, and it took like a year or two. But there are like 5 or 10 regular people in my life online who comment. They're just around. They're an online presence. I read their stuff. I like their content. They like mine. And sometimes we have chats. And by the time that I realized I have some friends here, I had not even been thinking about friends. I was like, I had no, I had, on some level I was, because I was thinking when you are authentic, people are going to notice it and you're going to find your people. But I was also thinking that in the context of, if I'm putting myself out there, it's going to make people aware to what's happening to help this stop, because I want the torture to stop. I actually thought that if I can just expose this, it's going to stop. If I could just get the evidence, I can go to the police and that'll make it stop. And so I just have to win over enough people. I just have to be likable enough that people can watch this and that they can just like me enough to listen to what I'm saying. So then they'll see the evidence. Then they'll see the proof of what's happening. And then this will be stopped. And then I can go back to not being gang stalked. And so it was an unexpected surprise to find people who I like and people who don't make me feel like they're spitting gum in my hair, people who don't make me feel belittled. And I'm really sensitive to that, you know? And it's been very consistent whenever people are like, "Hey, you're a good boy. You're a good boy." That's how they greet me. I'm just like, I don't think so, you know? I've seen it enough times. I've been kind of led astray by that enough times where, it's like the reason I'm chasing the person who says that to me isn't because I like them. It's because they've devalidated me and I'm trying to get the validation back. You've actually wounded me by doing this and I'm trying to get your approval now. But now I know that's a kind of narcissist thing. The narcissist gets you in a weak position with secret, sneaky tactics, and then they discard you so they can say, well, look, he's just begging to be with me. Ha 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 ha. What a piece of shit. I was the best thing in his life. But now he doesn't have me. Bye. And I think they only do that when you see through them, you know? When you're upset, it's like they they hurt you somehow. You're upset, and then they say, "What? Why are you upset with me?" And then they go through the whole discarding devaluation phase of, "Well, fuck you. You obey me blindly, or fuck you." And I'm like, "Well, what did I do? I why do I feel like chasing your validation, but I don't feel like chasing someone else's validation who doesn't placate me?" Well, it's because I'm not a narcissist, because I wouldn't do that to someone else, so I can't even see it when someone does it to me. I'm just like, what? Why are you being mean to me? Like, no, please like me. And then I'm like, oh wait, I didn't do it. And it's a conditioning thing too. Like it is a bit narcissistic on my point that if someone devalues me, that I actually believe them. On some level, I have to be not, because narcissism is when you don't like yourself. And so I have to be a bit narcissistic too, then, that when someone treats me badly, I even feel badly to begin with. But I don't think that narcissistic. Like, if you can call yourself a narcissist, I don't think you're a narcissist. I think a true narcissist couldn't say, I think I'm narcissistic. And I'm learning too. I don't think that, like this Louise the Tease, I don't think I'll be as nervous the next, if she writes me again, I don't think I'll be like, oh no, what is she going to say? I think I'm more like, okay, she's here to, she's slam dunking on me. That's all she's doing. So, I mean, I don't have to worry. Maybe she's going to slam dunk on me and it's going to hurt my feelings. I can pretty much say she's slam dunking on me. That's all she's doing. So whatever, like it's just, I enjoy the conversation from a different point of view now. More indifferent too. I don't really care that much if she comments again. And enjoying the conversation from the point of view of almost, and I hate to say this because it reminds me of someone who said this quote, who I think may have put me in the gang stalking list. I don't know. He said, other people's drama is my comedy. And I think I'm more on that level now. Like if she messaged me, comments again to be like, hey, I just dripped a cream pie in my own mouth. Do you want to see a pic? Just kidding. You're not going to see that. I think I would just be like, yeah, I already know. Like, I already know. Or she probably would show it if she could, actually. Well, anyways, it was nice chatting. So thank you for watching and goodbye.